Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Welcome to English Speak Up Academy, where we make English learning fun and practical. I'm Alex, and with me today is our resident expert, Emma.
Happy to be here.
With Valentine's Day coming up, we thought it'd be fun to talk about how to express love in English. Valentine's Day is super important to some people,
For others, it's just another commercial holiday.
but no matter how you feel about Valentine's Day, knowing how to express love and appreciation in English is a useful skill.
Lots of English learners struggle with this.
Yeah, they may worry about sounding awkward,
Or using the wrong phrases.
or maybe even about the problems with direct translations.
The same words can have different meanings in English compared to other languages.
Why is expressing love in English so challenging?
Well, one reason is because people are afraid of making a mistake.
Uh-huh.
Love is a very personal emotion,
Right.
and people worry about seeming insincere.
Or overly dramatic.
Yeah, that's true.
This makes sense, especially because different cultures have different ways of expressing love.
That's a good point. For example, in some cultures, it's common to use grand gestures and poetic language.
But in English, a more straightforward approach is usually better.
Exactly.
Let's look at some specific phrases you can use to express love. Let's start with phrases you might use if you are romantically interested in someone.
Okay, so let's say you have a crush on someone
Okay.
and you want to tell them how you feel.
All right. I'm attracted to someone, and I want to ask them out. What should I say?
A simple and direct approach usually works best in this situation. You could say, I really like you. Would you like to get coffee sometime?
Okay, that sounds good. What if I wanted to be a little more forward?
You could say, I have feelings for you.
Okay.
Or, I'd love to take you out sometime.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, it does.
Let's role play that last one. Let's pretend I'm asking you out for coffee.
All right, sounds good.
Emma, I'd love to take you out for coffee sometime. What do you say?
I'd love to. That's much better. You sound confident and sincere. It's important to choose a phrase that you feel comfortable with.
And one that's appropriate for how well you know the person.
Yes, definitely.
Now, how about expressing love in a relationship?
Well, in that case, you can use phrases that are more heartfelt and intimate.
I see.
Like on anniversaries, you might want to use special phrases.
Okay, could you give us an example of something you might say to your partner on an anniversary?
Sure, you could say, you make me so happy, or I'm so lucky to have you in my life.
Those are so sweet and genuine. And of course, there's always I love you.
Of course, I love you is a classic.
Yeah.
But it's good to use a variety of phrases to keep things interesting.
And show a range of emotions.
Exactly. And this also applies to expressing love for friends and family, too.
This is something that a lot of English learners get confused about
Right.
because these expressions are different from romantic love. How do we navigate that?
Well, for close friends, you could say something like, you're like family to me, or I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
These phrases really emphasize how important that person is in your life.
What about family members?
You can express love for them through both words and actions.
Wow.
Like you could say, I love you, Mom, or you mean a lot to me, Dad. But visiting family or helping with chores can also show them how much you care.
That's true. Actions speak louder than words. So we've talked about expressing love in romantic relationships, friendships, and with family. Now let's talk about common mistakes that English learners make when they're trying to express love.
Yeah, even small mistakes can lead to misunderstandings.
Or awkward situations.
Right. One common mistake is overusing I love you.
Why is that a problem?
Well, I love you is a very powerful expression.
It is.
And it's usually reserved for deep and committed relationships.
I see.
If you use it casually or too often, it loses its impact, and it can make the other person uncomfortable.
Right. Another common mistake is directly translating expressions from your native language to English.
Yes, that's true. This often results in phrases that sound strange or even offensive in English.
Can you give us an example of a more appropriate phrase?
Instead of, you are my liver, you could say something like, you're my everything.
Okay.
Or, you mean the world to me.
Those are much better.
So it's important to be aware of cultural differences and use expressions that sound natural in English.
What about being overly formal in casual situations?
That's another common mistake. Using overly formal language with friends or close acquaintances can create distance and awkwardness.
Yeah, it's important to find the right balance between being respectful and friendly.
Exactly.
Can you give us an example?
Sure, imagine telling a friend, I hold you in high esteem.
I hold you in high esteem.
Okay, That's very formal.
Yeah, it is.
You could just say, I really like you, or you're a great friend.
Yeah, I can see how those would be more appropriate for casual conversations. So we've talked about different phrases you can use to express love in different contexts. And we've also highlighted some common mistakes to avoid. Now it's your turn to put this knowledge into practice.
Yes, don't be afraid to experiment and find expressions that feel authentic to you.
Practice is key to becoming more comfortable and fluent. You can practice in front of a mirror or with a friend you trust.
You can also write down phrases or record yourself saying them.
That can help you build confidence. The more you practice, the more natural it will become. You might even be surprised by the positive impact it has on your relationships. So go out there and use your English skills to share the love.
Before we move on, I want to share a quote about love. Love is a language everyone understands, but with the right words, it becomes even sweeter.
That's beautiful. It reminds us of the power of language to enhance our experiences. Join us for part 2, where we'll explore even more advanced techniques for expressing love in English.
Welcome back to English Speak Up Academy.
Glad you're back for part 2 of our Valentine's Day special on expressing love in English.
In part 1, we discussed some basic phrases.
And common errors.
Right. In this part, we're going to explore some advanced techniques for expressing love. These will help you express yourself more clearly and with greater impact.
Sounds good. I'm ready.
Okay. One way to do this is by using sensory language.
Sensory language.
Yeah,
Like appealing to the 5 senses.
that's right. By using words that evoke sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and touch, you can create a much more vivid experience for the listener.
I see.
So instead of just saying, I love you, you could say, I love the way your eyes sparkle when you laugh.
Wow, that sounds so much more romantic and personal.
Yeah, it adds depth and intimacy to your expression.
How else can we use sensory language to express love?
You could describe the warmth of your partner's embrace, the softness of their skin,
I like it.
or the scent of their perfume.
Ooh, it's nice.
All of these sensory details can transform a simple, I love you, into a really powerful expression of love.
So we can use sensory details. What else?
Another technique is to use metaphors and similes.
Metaphors and similes.
Yeah.
Those are literary devices.
Right, they're very effective for conveying complex emotions.
Can you remind us how those two are different?
Sure, a metaphor compares two things without using the words like or as,
Okay.
while a simile makes the comparison using like or as.
Okay.
For example, you are my sunshine is a metaphor.
Right.
It implies that the person brings light and happiness into your life.
And assembly.
A simile would be something like, your love is like a warm blanket on a cold winter's night.
Oh, I like that.
It conveys comfort and security.
Yeah, metaphors and similes can really add a poetic touch to your expressions of love.
That's right.
It's like painting a picture with words.
Exactly. Now let's talk about something else that's important, tone of voice.
Tone of voice, okay.
Yeah, your tone of voice is really important for making sure your emotions come across accurately.
Right.
I mean, you could say, I love you in a flat monotone,
Uh,
but it wouldn't have the same impact as if you said it with feeling.
yeah, a heartfelt tone makes it much more meaningful.
Hmm.
What are some tips for using tone effectively?
Well, the most important thing is to be genuine.
Okay.
Let your voice reflect your true emotions.
Right.
Speak from the heart.
People can tell if you're not being sincere.
Yeah, they can. Also, pay attention to your pace and volume.
Okay.
Speak slowly and clearly, especially when you're expressing important sentiments. And don't be afraid to modulate your voice.
Modulate?
Yeah, to add emphasis and emotion.
I see.
You know, subtle variations in pitch and volume can make a big difference.
So we've talked about sensory language, metaphors and similes, and tone of voice. How can we put all of these techniques into practice?
One good way is to practice writing love letters or poems. That's a good idea.
It lets you experiment with language without the pressure of a real conversation.
Right.
You can also try role-playing with a friend or language partner.
That's a good idea.
It's more interactive.
Uh-huh.
And you can get feedback on your tone of voice.
Yeah.
And of course, it's always helpful to observe native English speakers.
Observe.
Yeah, like in movies and TV shows.
Okay.
Or even just in real-life conversations.
I got it.
You can learn a lot by paying attention to the nuances of how they express love.
That's true.
And remember, it's okay to make mistakes.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Exactly. Just view them as opportunities to learn and improve.
Right. Expressing love is a skill.
Yes, it is.
And any skill takes time and practice to develop.
As you experiment with these techniques and keep practicing, you'll become more confident and fluent in sharing your feelings in English.
Welcome back to English Speak Up Academy for the last part of our Valentine's Day special on expressing love in English.
We're so glad you're back with us. We've talked about a lot of different techniques and tips for expressing love effectively.
We've covered everything from basic phrases to advanced literary devices.
Yeah, and we've also talked about how to convey your feelings in a way that's both nuanced and authentic.
We want to leave you with some final thoughts and inspiration.
As you continue to learn about how to express love in English,
One thing to remember is that expressing love doesn't always have to involve grand gestures or waiting for a special occasion.
it's the small, everyday acts of kindness and appreciation that really make a difference.
You know those little things you do to show someone you care?
Like just saying, thank you for being you, or I appreciate everything you do.
Right. Those simple phrases can be so powerful.
Because they show that you're present
And mindful.
and that you really mean what you say.
And don't be afraid to be vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
Yeah.
Why is that important?
Well, vulnerability is actually a strength, not a weakness. When you open your heart and share your true feelings, it allows you to connect with others on a deeper level.
And sometimes the most powerful expressions of love aren't even spoken,
Right. Sometimes it's the nonverbal things that really matter.
like a warm hug,
Or a gentle touch.
or even just a knowing glance.
All of these things can say so much without words.
So it's important to pay attention to your loved one's needs and show them you care through both actions and words.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about expressing love to friends, romantic partners, and family members.
Mm-hmm.
But before we wrap up, I want to talk about the foundation of it all.
Oh, the foundation.
Self-love.
Ah, yes, self-love.
You can't pour from an empty cup, right?
That's so true.
If you don't love yourself,
Yeah,
it's hard to truly love others.
absolutely.
So how do we cultivate self-love?
Well, it starts with self-acceptance,
Self-acceptance.
embracing all parts of yourself,
Even the imperfections?
especially the imperfections.
We're often our own harshest critics.
We are.
We need to treat ourselves with the same kindness and compassion that we extend to others.
And self-care is important, too.
Self-care?
Taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional well-being.
It's not selfish.
No, it's essential.
Because when you take care of yourself,
Yeah.
you're better able to show up for the people you love.
What about our self-talk?
So,
The way we talk to ourselves in our heads.
oh yeah, that inner voice can be pretty harsh sometimes.
It can be.
So how do we change that negative self-talk?
Well, first of all, become aware of it
Okay, notice those negative thoughts.
and then challenge them.
Okay,
Ask yourself, is this really true?
and replace those negative thoughts with positive affirmations.
Positive affirmations like, I am worthy of love.
I am capable of achieving my dreams.
Those affirmations can really shift your mindset.
They help us believe in ourselves more fully.
And when we believe in ourselves,
We're more capable of loving and being loved.
this has been such an amazing exploration of love and language.
It really has. So remember, love is a gift.
A gift that we give to ourselves and to others.
And the more we share it,
The more it multiplies.
we hope you've enjoyed this special Valentine's Day episode
We hope you feel empowered to express your love in English.
with confidence and authenticity.
And remember, love is a universal language.
It's something we all understand.
So go out there and spread the love.
Happy Valentine's Day from English Speak Up Academy.
We'll see you next time.